Hi everyone, I'm going to react to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 3, Episode 2, The Saint's Intentions. I just finished reacting to the last episode of Season 7 of My Hero Academia, and I was just like crying my eyes out. And before I'm like, because I had to react to this, right? So I need to pump myself back up a little bit. So I started listening to Fancy. Like, that song just it makes me feel so much better. Makes me feel so much better. So even though I still still have a little bit of sadness inside of me, I feel so much better than I was just a few minutes ago. So last episode, Diablo was the best. He was the best. Yeah. He basically controlled that whole situation. That thing that was supposed to last several months. Taking over the kingdom of Falmouth and whatnot, like that just like he just solved that in just because he wanted to run back to Rimuru as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm on last episode. Before I get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/feelmeeting. And now let's start this episode, and here we go. I feel like, yeah, we fancy and then that time I'm gonna feel so much better by the end of this episode, because they always make me laugh. So many amazing funny moments in that time. So it's like, yeah, I always put it at the during my reactions for the day. It's always last, because I know I'm gonna feel well. Let's not say I know, but most of the time I always feel good at the end of it. Because last season, the whole section of last season was just like, no. So yeah, let's get into this episode, and here we go.
Okay guys, in case the reaction gets blocked and I had to cut out the reaction itself, you can just look in the pinned comment in the comment section for the link to the reaction highlight itself, so you can just click on it, watch it, and then you just come back for my review.
Who's lying? Oh, he's dead. Excuse me.
本当の死だ。レンタインって昔会長と互角だった魔王でしょ。よく勝てたね。ヴァンパイアの力が落ちる新月の夜やったしな。運が良かったんや。
So he actually thinks that was Valentine?
忠告無視して弱いくせに調子に乗るからあいつは死んだんや。ラプラス！お前たち、悲しいのは皆同じだ。
そうだね、ラプラス。一人で悪役になるなんて君らしくないぜ。
すみませんね、ラプラス。
それはええけど、バラされたらカッコつかんやんけ。
クレイマンに預けてあった拠点、軍勢、財産、宝石、その全てを失った。大損害だよ。
クレイマンに預けてあった俺の拠点も昨日一晩で落とされちまったのさ。何やて？信じられないことにあのスライムはごく少数の
方針について計画を見直そうと思うんだよ。今は我慢の時かな。世界征服という野望を達成するためにはね。
Why is it like the goal of every evil person or whatever, like world domination or to destroy the world?
やられっぱなしは尺だよね。クレイマンから全てを奪ったあのスライムには少しくらい仕返ししておこうと思うんだ。
リエリ、また何か悪巧みでっけ？
一つ仕掛けてみようと思う。
I'm guessing it's gonna have something to do with Hinata. Just seeing them makes me happy. What's the Kazalim? So does Kazalim not know that Valentine is a woman? Or has this the guy that's been masquerading as Valentine been the one to face him previously, and he thinks that Valentine is a man? Because I don't get. I thought maybe Laplace would think that because he was able to defeat um the fake Valentine easily, that he would know that that's not the real one, But clearly he had a sort of like an excuse, valid excuse about being able to kill him. But I'm still confused about the Kazalian part of it. Like, well, I don't know. Rebellious.
神聖法王国ルベリオス。この国は神に管理を委ねることで完全なる平等性を実現している。
Valentine?
その神ルミナスの正体こそ魔王ルミナス・バレンタイン。
So she knows. Oh, clearly she knows because she was there.
これ以上あの人に甘えていては自分はダメになる。この世界で頼れるのは自分の力のみ。私を強くしてくれる場所。西方聖教会に入団し、法王。その正体がルイというヴァンパイアであり、魔王ロイ・バレンタインの双子の兄であるということに。ということに。
I need to go back and I think I missed something.
ここまで。わらわの信者まで騒がしいぞ。一体何をしているのじゃ。二人ともわらわを置いて死ぬことなど許さぬ。お前もよ人間。おごった考えを抱いたまま死ぬでない。わらわの行いが悪かどうか、それを歪小な身で勝手に判断するとは何様じゃと考える方が傲慢であろうよ。違うか？一週間やろう。七王の試練を乗り越えられよう。その時こそわらわも本気で相手してやろうぞ。
The trial of the 7 days.
そして敗れ、下った。ほんの少しだけ血を吸い取り、正気を糧にするのみ。人間が幸福であればあるほど、その血の味も美味となるが、大量の正気を吸い取ることは、ルミナス様によって固く禁じられていた。だからこそ、ルミナス様をお守りしなければならない。この理想郷を守るために。
深夜に何者かが侵入したのは知ってるだろう。その侵入者がワルプルギスより帰還したロイを殺害し逃走したようだ。問題ならあるとも。脅威として暴れさせていたロイが死んだ。信仰心が薄れる可能性がある。
邪竜に関しては知らないけど、森が安定しているのはあのリムルというスライムを私が逃がしてしまったからでしょう。
I let him escape?
深いな相手だったようだな。
So she knows?
同郷と訴えられて手心でも加えたかね。
まさかルミナス様の目的とあのスライムの目的は一致しない。
天使が動くか。
ええ、あのままの勢いで街を発展させたら間違いなく動くわ。
Who are the angels?
失敗したのは結果的には良かったのかもしれない。
どういう意味か。
ロイが死んだ今、人類共通の敵として活躍してくれると思わないか。
そううまくいくとは思えないけど、私に情報を持ち込んだ東の商人だけど。
So that's the merchant?
約束があって、あの商人は私を利用しようとしていた。
Duh.
だとすれば、リムルという存在を消さなかったのは正解だったかもね。
あの地を東に対する防波堤とする方が好ましいと思うよ。それもこれもあのリムルとやらがワルプルギスを生き延びられたらの話だがね。
So this was before Walpurgis happened?
でいられるかしら。
But didn't they just say that Roy came back? Okay.
それを言うなら私も優しくないな。弟が死んだというのにまるで悲しい気持ちにならない。
This whole scene confuses me. It confuses me.
バカな子。攻めを追うべきはわらわであろう。
いいえ、弟がルミナス様の期待に応えられなかった結果です。どうかお気にやまれませんよ。
邪竜は復活し、リムルという新たな魔王が誕生した。その対策を考えねばならぬ。あのベルドラとやらを私が始末してまいりましょう。
Can she do that?
だが、魔王リムルはともかくベルドラには勝てぬ。
その通りだよ、ヒナタ。
そのものなのじゃ。荒れ狂う暴風ならば魔法で制御することもできよう。じゃが、あの邪竜には意志がある。それでも万が一の場合は私が切る。
They just told you you cannot.
このと断じて会話を無視したのは失敗だったかもしれない。競技を守る意味でも対応が間違っていたとは思いたくない。それでは新しく魔王になったリムルは放置するほかなかろうよ。幸いにも神敵と正式に触れを出しておら、あの魔物たちが開発中の都市や街道は天使の進行を早める可能性があります。ああ、それが。
Who the freak are the angels?
邪悪な魔王として我らの共犯者になってもらうというのは
無理じゃな。それを邪魔する者は人も魔王も聖教会も全て等しく俺の敵だとな。それでは今は様子見しかできませんね。そうじゃな。下手に動かず堂々としておればよい。
魔王リムルに関してはどういたしますか。
そうよな。リムルは政治的な取引に応じる相手であろうし、
ルムス王国はテンペスト側の要求をのみ戦争賠償にその
じて認められませぬ。そもそも国庫を開いてもそのような数を用意できぬが。さよう。霊人ヒナタも動くであろうよ。あのメギツネか。勇者もいたであろう。おお、という歴代最強と名高い勇者。
The guy in the corner over there is gonna. Oh my gosh. You think that Lightspeed is gonna do anything against Veldora? Are you stupid?
兄上、いや王よ。誇り高き王が簡単に負けを認めるのですか。世が大意せぬなら属国になるか戦争継続しかない。しかし無抵抗で魔物の軍門に下るなどよろしいでしょうか。今朝方私に届けられた書状ですわく、ブルムンド王国はテンペストを支持し、ファルムス王国の派兵を非難すると。小国ごときが生意気な。
ドワーフ王ガゼルは中立の立場を守るでしょうか。
いや、問題にすべきはその発言力よな。
ジュラの大森林の名手を名乗る魔物リムルが魔王になると宣言したそうです。
なんとこれを魔王どもが黙ってはおるまい。身の程を。
Oh my gosh.
魔王クレイマンが魔王リムルに討ち取られたとのことです。バカな。在は8名の魔王がオクタグラムを称する由にございます。
Are you gonna resist? Or abdicate?
世は大意する。そして後継者にはエドワルドを推す。兄上、なんでエドガーはまだ幼い。乗り切るのは難しいであろうよ。
I thought he was gonna nominate what's his name?
テンペスト連邦国の間で終戦に関する協定が結ばれた。ファルムス王国もテンペストを国家として認めた形になったのだ。
Okay. This, I believe I've said this previously, like many times. When an episode is sort of like all talk, usually I miss a whole lot of stuff. And I felt like there was a whole lot of political talk as well in this episode. And that makes me even more likely not to understand anything that's going on, because me and politics, we don't mesh. So it's like, yeah. This episode needs another rewatch, I guess. So I'm like, okay, they started this episode with Laplace and the others discussing Clement's death and how their whole plan has been sort of like destroyed by Rimuru. And then what's his name? The leader of the whole group that wants world domination. I'm not forgetting his name. Yuuki. What was I about to say about Yuuki? Okay, so after all that had happened, Yuuki is like, okay, we need to lay low for a while, but I still need to do something, to Rimuru. And he had this sinister look on his face. And I'm like, okay, what is he going to do? What is he going to start? So we go from there to basically Hinata recounting how she sort of like became, I guess, a servant of Valentine. Because at one point she said something about, first off, she said that, what's her name? Oh, for the people sent to Shizu. He said that Shizu was soft-hearted or whatever, and that she needed to be tougher. She can only count on herself. And then she saw these Holy Knights sort of like training. She's like, okay, if I join the Holy Knights, I'm going to be stronger. She went and joined the Holy Knights. And then as she kept advancing in ranks and all of that, then she discovered like the truth behind their god Luminus and whatnot. So there came a point where he said that that Luminus was the twin brother of basically one of the twins. So I'm like, wait, there are twins? Huh? Did I miss something? And then as the story progressed, she actually met Valentine herself. And then because Valentine saved her and she has created this sort of like utopia, I guess, in what's the Holy Empire of Lubelius, I think it's called. That, okay, you have these vampires, but they don't really feed on humans. It's just like a little drop of blood and whatnot. And then if the humans are happy, then their blood tastes sweet. So she basically tries to keep every human happy, but they don't really feed on the humans and stuff. So it's like this sort of a peaceful place where all these humans are living in peace and they're happy and all of that. So because Luminus was the one behind all of that now, and then she has saved her, it's sort of like is now obedient to her and whatnot, and will do everything that she can to protect her and protect the utopia that they have created and all of that. And then there was I feel like this episode was confusing me when it came to the timeline of events, because while they were discussing the state of affairs, her and was Louis, right? When they were discussing the state of affairs, they mentioned the fact that Louis had died, after, like, so, now that I'm thinking about it, it feels like it's not that confusing. Like they were saying that Louis had died and all of that, but then they were like, okay, they're gonna wait and to see if Rimuru was gonna survive Walpurgis and whatnot. And I felt like, wait, didn't they say something that should have basically happened after Walpurgis? So that would mean that Rimuru may throw it, but then they're talking as if they don't know. So it's like, what are y'all talking about? You're confusing me. But now that I'm thinking about it, yes, Roy came back from Walpurgis, but things were still happening. Walpurgis had not ended, when Roy came back. So they still didn't know what the outcome of Walpurgis was. So when Luminus came back, and then they told her what happened and all of that, and then they learned how Rimuru made it through and all of that. And then during the discussion, they kept mentioning these angels, and then there was a particular war that they wanted to win, and I'm like, there were all these things that they were throwing out that I'm like, what's happening? So that's why I'm like, I need to rewatch this again so that I can situate things better in my mind. And then basically at the end there, they decided not to do anything. Oh, and then Hinata mentioned the merchant that was giving her sort of like false information. When she was fighting Rimuru the first time around, there was a point where she said that she let Rimuru escape, sort of like that fight that they had, that she let him escape. And I'm like, wait, did she? That made me think in that particular moment that she knew that Rimuru, when she was walking away, she already knew that Rimuru had left, that like had survived already. And so when she said that, then I'm like, wait, so she already knew that he was alive? But then I think it's not like she knew that he was alive, but after that battle happened, and then you see everything that happened with Tempest and Rimuru being there and all of that, I think that's why she's saying that she let him escape. Because in that moment, I'm like, wait, did she know? Did she let him escape on purpose because they have a master plan or whatever? But I don't think that's it. So she was mentioning this merchant that I felt like a lot of people, different people kept mentioning throughout this series, that this merchant that's giving information and all of that. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, is this merchant Mjolnir? Because that's the merchant that has always been in my mind. I don't know any other merchant. But then in this particular episode, they showed an image of this merchant who looked nothing, even though he was in shadow. That person looked nothing like Mjolnir. Mjolnir is more like chubby. This guy is like slender and, hair and ponytail, whatever. So clearly not the same person. And so I'm like, okay, who is this? I feel like if he was Yuuki disguised as someone, if he was Yuuki, Hinata would have known, because both of them were Shizu's disciples or students, so can't be him, but it must be, I feel like it must be someone connected to Yuuki, so we go to Falmouth, and they're having this discussion, and then the king is like, okay, I'm gonna abdicate the throne and pay reparations, and the nobles at the table were like getting upset, and then they're like, okay, Hinata is not gonna let things happen. I'm like, first of all, Luminus basically forbade Hinata from attacking Veldora, because she's like, you're gonna die. And then you have these ones talking about this other hero called the Lightspeed or whatever, that he was gonna attack him. I'm like, y'all being stupid. And then they started mentioning I think what they were discussing, that one of them at the table was like, I received communication. We know when he said that he received communication, I thought that whatever Yuuki was saying he was going to do at the beginning of the episode, that was going to come in the form of that letter. But no, that letter was basically telling them that you have all these other kingdoms, Bluemood and Gazelle, Dwargo's kingdom, and all of that, those people that are sort of like rallying around Rimuru, they're worrying about those kingdoms, sort of like retaliating against them. And then you have a soldier or whatever, and I sort of like come in and say that that Rimuru said that he was gonna become a demon lord, and they were like, well, no, that's not gonna happen. The other demon lords are not gonna let that happen, and all of that. And like just like a few seconds later, you have another one that just came in, and he's like, he has become a demon lord. Now you have the autograms. You have the other Frey and not Clement. What is his name again? Carrion. Frey and Carrion now being working under Malim, and then now Rimuru will become a demon lord, and they were like, whoa. And I'm like, okay, how exactly? See, this is what I'm saying about the timeline. You have this one person come in and say, okay, Rimuru said that he was gonna become a demon lord, and then a few seconds later, another one comes in and he's like, he's become a demon lord. So I'm like, timeline-wise, what's happening? Unless this is all part of Diablo's plan, and those two soldiers or whatever sort of like they sort of are play acting this thing in front of the royals. Is it not the royals? There's another term for them. Whatever, I'm forgetting. That's sort of a play acting so that they can impress upon all of them the gravity of the situation, so that they can be like, okay, this is the only choice that we have. We have to abdicate. I have to abdicate the throne, and we have to pay reparation, and we have to, sign a treaty or whatever with Rimuru, the kingdom, Jura, and all of that. And then the king said that he was gonna give the throne to Edward, I think was his name. Yeah, Edward. And when he said he was gonna give the throne to somebody else, I'm like, when he said to Edward, I'm like, wait, what about Yom? Because Yom was supposed to be, the king, I guess, after him. But then I guess that doesn't apply anymore, because the purpose of Yom becoming the new king of Falmouth was so that they can have some kind of diplomatic relationship, I guess, whatever, with the Jura Tempest, make things easier. But then with him giving the throne to somebody else, and them having that sign, them signing this treaty with Jura, and Diablo's there, and then the current king is there, and they're signing this sort of like treaty or whatever with Tempest. I guess that's sort of like fulfill that goal, of having diplomatic relationship between these two kingdoms. But then the guy that he's gonna abdicate the throne to just had this sinister smile on his face. So clearly it's not good. And now I'm wondering, is this new King Edward, is he working with Yuki, or is it just some kind of, is he not related at all with Yuki, and he just has his own agenda that he's going to be able to implement now that he has become the king? Like, I don't know, like, what was that smile about? That smile was evil. So it can be a good thing. What else happened this episode? Yeah, I think that's basically it. But like I said, I need to rewatch this episode. And it's where they kept mentioning these angels. So I'm like, what angels? Who are the angels? And at one point, Valentine called them flying bugs. I don't know. So many things. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you want to see my reaction to episode 3, episode 3, the link is going to be in the pinned comments. So just click on it and you can watch it right now. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Don't need no champagne, popping entertainment. Take her to Wendy's, can't keep her off me. She wanna dip it like them fries and them frosty.